Welcome back to the Savage Report. I'm Andy Savage. Seeing Charleston's first 787 Boeing Dreamliner roll off the production line here in North Charleston was an amazing sight.
Senator, thanks so much for joining us, and it's great to see you again.
Thank you. What a day.
What a happy day.
What a day.
Huh? I said
God.
to Jack a little while ago, I said, thank God this wasn't in July. That was kind of warm out here.
Well, you know, let's look at it this way. The weight of the world was on the Boeing workforce here from a South Carolina perspective. If this had not turned out well, if we had failed, it would have crippled economic recruitment for decades. But not only did it turn out well, ahead of schedule, under budget, a home run by the South Carolina Boeing team. It's going to help us recruit all over the world. If you were thinking about coming to South Carolina yesterday, after you see this today, you're more inclined. Big day for South Carolina.
What a terrific job everybody did, but particularly Mary Thornley over Trident Tech and the workforce. What phenomenal workers. Everybody had their doubts.
That's what Jim Auble told me. He said they could not be more pleased with the educational training, the Trident Tech, the whole higher ed infrastructure around Boeing here. This has just exceeded all of their expectations. And you're talking about the most sophisticated airplane in the world being made here, under budget, ahead of schedule, and that just speaks volumes to our workforce and to those who support the workforce.
You know, Senator, you're our guy in D.C. You're the guy we can depend on. All you've done for the port, what you've done for Boeing. Tell me how it looks in the future. 85% of these aircraft are going overseas. How are we going to help Boeing? How are they going to be financed?
Well, here's the deal for me. The first 5 airplanes sold, made in South Carolina, are sold to people who bought the plane through the Export-Import Bank. Countries throughout the world have banks that will help American company. Our Export-Import Bank will help an American company make a sale in an emerging market where it's hard to get traditional financing. China has one. France has 3. England, Germany, Canada has a bank 3 times our size, even though they're 1/10 the size of the United States. The Export-Import Bank is going to run out of money in May. 85% of the planes made in South Carolina are a result of export-import financing. I'm going to do everything in the world to make sure Boeing, GE, and all the other companies who rely on this bank can produce a product in America and sell it overseas. We're not going to unilaterally surrender. If the rest of the world didn't have a bank, fine, but they do have banks, and the bank made $5 billion for the taxpayer. This is no-brainer for Lindsey Graham.
Well, thanks for looking out for us. But what about the junior senator? What's with him, and what about our local congressman?
Jim is trying to say that we should have free markets throughout the world, and he's right. He's trying to make the bank more efficient, but we're not going to get there in 2 weeks. We've got to keep the bank in place as long as other countries do. I'd like to see a free, fair, open market throughout the world. Boeing would do just fine if nobody else had a bank. But if they've got a bank to help sell Airbus and Boeing doesn't have a bank to sell the Dreamliner, Boeing's going to lose. So I'm practical. I'd like to change the system, but we're not going to do that in the next 2 weeks. So we're going to get it reauthorized, and I think it's going to be an overwhelming
vote. You're pretty confident of that?
Yes, we'll reform the program. We're going to make it more efficient bank, but we're not going to unilaterally surrender. If we can find a day in the future where no banks exist for manufacturers for foreign sales, that'd be a great day. We're not there yet. Until that day comes, I'm not going to cut the legs out from Boeing, GE, and all the other companies that use the bank to sell our products made in South Carolina overseas. It's going to get reauthorized.
You know, we watched the speeches, we heard everybody, but what impresses me most is the teamwork. The employees you have are phenomenal.
That's what impresses us about South Carolina.
When they came marching in behind the Burke High School band, what a great day it was.
And that wasn't just for show. This is a team here. If you go look into any building, any place on site, you will see them working together. They all care about each other, not just about their hardware. Every building they care about what the other teammate is doing.
And that was the fear in the beginning. Can South Carolina produce workers that can build this beautiful aircraft? And they did it. We did it.
You did, and that was a concern. I mean, think about it. Nobody's ever built an airplane down here in this part of the United States. And so, as I tell people, you don't know what you don't know. We had confidence. We had confidence because we obviously skirted, scouted, looked at all the areas, looked at the education system, looked at the workforce. And when we came down here, we really did feel confident we could do this.
Well, tell our viewers how good this aircraft, this singular aircraft over here is.
And what we try and do is have the airplane completely built before it comes out to the flight line. Now that very seldom happens because there's always something that happens to the airplane. Maybe you have a part and it's short. You can't get the part right away, so you roll the airplane out anyway. So it's typical to have 100 or more traveled pieces of paper. But for the very first airplane ever built in a facility to come out with 96, less than 100 pieces of paper, that's phenomenal. That's just remarkable performance by the part of the team.
And going forward, we'll see this one in the air in about 3 weeks.
We'll see this in the air about 3 weeks. Then after we prove it can fly, and we'll go for what we call an experimental ticket. And right after we demonstrate it can fly, we'll head it toward Fort Worth to get the paint job, final paint job.
One thing that I noticed today, our local congressman and our junior senator weren't here. I'm very concerned with the bank to support and finance these aircraft. How does Boeing feel about it? Is the bank going to be re-energized by the Congress?
Ultimately, they'll decide, but it is very important to us. It is absolutely important to us.
What percentage of your aircraft, when they're sold, have an affiliation with the bank?
I don't know the exact number, but I will tell you that 85% of all of our aircraft that we deliver are to foreign carriers. So a lot of them get ex-Im funding. And so we absolutely believe we should get the support of Congress. It just helps business. It helps Boeing. It helps the United States.
That's our program for now. From all of us at the Savage Report, we want to send a big congratulations to all of the Boeing workers who made this rollout of the first 787 Dreamliner manufactured in Charleston a reality. We'll leave you now with one last look of the many sights and sounds of this historic day.
Were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs burn.
Right, everybody remember old Strom? One of his great disappointments is he couldn't get the Wright brothers to come to South Carolina. So Strom, we got Boeing, buddy.
But when you're in Charleston, South Carolina, when you wish upon a star, Boeing and its employees make Dreamliners come true.
All right, let's marshal it in.
Hopefully their feet are on the brake pedal.